Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Sri Shaila Bijanamburashishrinam Sri Krishna Tatatmajam Sri Shailanvaya Devanath Sudhya Praptagaman Tadvayam Padabje Nasimha Tate Guroho Nyastatma Raksha Bharam Vidvadvranda Chakora Chandiramaham Ramanujaryam Shraye Sriranga Sudhamadu Samaswadayantam Sriranga Mahishi Padapankajatmajam Sulabhashrayam Sadamoda Siddhamadbhutam Bhajeham Budham Tam Ranganatha Priyam Sukhasanastham Hridayabja Pithe Chinmudraya Lankata Pani Padmam Shubhopavitam Vimalordhva Pundram Namami Rangam Gurum Antarenge Namami Yoga Samrajnim Vijayam Vijayapradam Srirangardha Sanasinam Karunam Mamataram Guru Rupa Paranjyotihi Jyoti Rupa Guru Paraha Ajnana Mandiram Hyetate Guru Vijnana Mandiram Mukhaṁ Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Vande Paramananda Madhavam Yontah Pravishya Mama Vachamimam Prasuttam Sanjeevayathyakhila Shaktidhara Sudhamna Anyamscha Hastacharana Shravanatvagadine Pranan Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Namostu Te Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullara Vindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha. With salutations to our Guru and the Guru of all Gurus, we'll commence our session today. So in the last class, we had basically looked at the 3 slokas on Daivi Gunas. And we are in the chapter called Daivasura Sampat Vibhaga Yogaha. And the common theme in this chapter is how or what, first of all, are the divine qualities, what are demonic qualities, and how are they differing with each other. And it seems that from 3rd sloka onwards, Sri Krishna has reserved this to describe more of Asuri Gunas than Devi Gunas, because it is more prevalent, is what we should say. So, Modal 3 Shlokathla, we have seen the important gunas of Abhayam, Sattva Samshuddhihi, Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi, Danam, Damaha, Yajnaha, Swadhyayaha, Tapaha, Arjavam, Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodhaha, Tyagaha, Aprama, Shantihi, Apaishunam, Daya, Daya Bhuteshu, Aloluptvam, Mardavam, Hrihi, Achapalam. Adikaprama, Tejaha, Kshama, Dhritihi, Shaucham. This is Pandamanambo, 3rd sloka, Pandla Nanikre. I don't think we did. Yeah. So we'll do the 3rd sloka today. Teja Kshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhijatasya Bharata. Previous slokathla Hrihi Achapalam nu mudichar. Chapalam garde irka kudade. Chapalam garde edanala varudungiradhum paatham. Whenever the sense objects are close to the senses, and most importantly, we attach the wrong importance to the wrong things, a sense of bonding will happen. And that bonding is the reason ஃபார் சப்பலம். ஆனா தெய்வீ குணமானது அச்சப்பலம். என்னதான் causal factors இருந்தாலும் I will ensure that I will never fall into the trap. அடுத்தது சத்துவ குணங்கள்ல, அதாவது தெய்வீ குணங்கள்ல பிரதானமானது தேஜஹா. தேஜஹா அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா தேஜஸ்ன்னு சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, தி லைட். And the light here is essentially the tejas that emanates from swadhyaya, tapaha. நம்ம சத்தியமான விஷயங்களே சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தா, அஹிம்சைங்கிறத பாலிச்சுருந்தாக்கா ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்கலி யூ கெட் இன் யுவர் பாடி வாட் இஸ் நோன் as தேஜஸ். It is not just an aspect of intellect or mind getting sharpened, and you have a extreme sense of clarity, of vivekam, but it also reflects through the body. And the tejas அப்படினு சொல்றது, it impacts a mind which is pure, automatically translates its purity to the body through the breath. Pranan மூலமா it purifies all the cells of the body. Therefore, the body itself will start emanating this tejas. So, and unless we have seen people with tejas, we won't be able to relate to this. But we had the good fortune of seeing such people. அவ கிட்ட போனாலே, அவளுடைய ஸ்பியர் ஆஃப் இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ்ல போனாலே, you will start getting the positive vibes or vibrations. So such is the power of tejaha. அடுத்தது க்ஷமா. க்ஷமா is the Devi quality of perseverance. Perseverance in the presence of dualities. Perseverance in the presence of probably asuric qualities in and around yourself. It indicates a sense of balance. Those who do not have a sense of balance can never have the sense of perseverance. It is closely tied to how balanced a human being you can be. இது எப்படின்னா, க்ஷமாங்கிறது நம்ம மேல, if somebody continues to perform bad activities or bad things, you will start getting affected, no doubt. ஆனால் அத்தையும் மீறி you should have the first of all shakti to bear it. It is not that everybody can have this kind of ksama. kshamangiradhu illenaka enna agum, you will get irritated, you will start becoming reactive, and you will get into the thick of things, and you will start retaliating.
The forgiveness anedhu kshama, forgiveness illaya, forgiveness, forgiving,
both are embedded there. One is perseverance, and because of that what happens is you will be forgiving. And the best example for kshama is Bhuma Devi in Sulva. You should be as forgiving and of course as perseverant as Bhuma Devi. And the kshamangra buddhi எப்போ வரும் அப்படின்னா, you are able to tolerate the ill effects that come to you because of the way others treat you, and you let it go. Basically, kshama is also, thank you mommy, it's a feeling of letting go, that இது போயிச்சு போட்டோம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய ஒரு ஆட்டிடியூட். அண்ட் தட்ஸ் ஏ தெய்வீ குணம். எவ்வளவுதான் தப்பு பண்ணியிருந்தாலும் அதை வந்துட்டு முதல்ல அதை சரிப்படுத்துறதுக்குன்னு ஒரு மனசு இருக்கு. தட் இஸ் டெஃபினெட்லி தேர். And when it comes to forgiving, they not only forgive us, but great people also correct us. That is embedded as part of this Devi Gunam called Kshama. And it is not very easy to acquire this Gunam. It comes only from a sense of balance. அடுத்தது திருதிஹி. திருதிஹினாக்கா தாரணம். தாரணாத்து திருதிஹி. when our intellect is well established on what is good, what is bad, and you have developed a great sense of determination, then you are supposed to possess dhriti. And how do we acquire this quality called dhriti? It's a daivi quality. Why it is daivi is the fact that if you have a strong determination, you will start adopting all the other things that we have told so far. Sattva samshuddhi, jnana yoga vyavasthi, danaha, damaha. இதெல்லாம் பண்ணணும்னா முதல்ல நம்ம புத்தியில இதெல்லாம் சரி அப்படின்றது ஏறணும் மனசுல. இதெல்லாம் தப்புன்னு ஏறித்தானா எதுவுமே வராது. Therefore, in that sense, dhriti also is an equally important தெய்வீ குணம். அந்த திருத்திங்கிறத வளர்த்துக்கிறதுக்கு it is important for us to get associated with satsangam. சத்சங்கம்னு ஒன்று இருந்தால் தான் திருத்திங்கிறது நம்மளுக்கு over a period of time it accumulates. ஏன்னா every second, every minute of our daily lives, we are impinged by both good and bad things. And unless we develop a sense of determination, we will not know what is in the long term good for us. அதனால திருத்திஹி அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம கட்டாயம் வளர்த்துக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு குணம். அடுத்தது சௌச்சம். Shaucham comes from the word shuchi. Shuchi or cleanliness. Cleanliness, not just from, a bodily perspective. Very, very important. We have to maintain a clean body. And a clean body, it doesn't mean that you keep taking bath 24 hours. What we should ensure is, of course, external cleanliness for the body. What you eat is also equally important. நம்ம கண்டத்தையும் சாப்பிட்டோம்னாக்கா we all know what happens to our body. The upkeep will not be proper. We will not have a clean body if we do not take proper food. அதே மாதிரி the act of cleanliness, as we all can imagine, should extend to our mind as well. வெளியில சுத்தமா இருந்துட்டு உள் மனசுல சுத்தி இல்லை அப்படின்னாக்கா then shaucham அப்படிங்கிறது இல்லைன்னு தான் அர்த்தங்க. So many times we see people give a lot of priority to external cleanliness. Having said that, we cannot have a clean state of mind unless our body is also clean. Therefore, these two should coexist. And there are ways and means of proper upkeep of our body. Secondly, our surroundings. It is important to also look at நம்ம சுச்சிங்கிறது மனசளவுல எப்போ வளரும் அப்படின்னாக்கா we should not get into bad company. If you get into bad company, then the shuchi of the mind will no more exist. It will get eroded. So therefore, we should stay focused on shaucham. This is also a daivi gunam. In contrast, those who have asuri gunam will display a sense of uncleanliness, it not only externally but also internally. ரெண்டுமே இருக்கும். அடுத்தது அத்ரோஹா. அத்ரோகம் அப்படின்னாக்கா இன்னொருத்தருக்கு நம்ம கெட்டது பண்ணக்கூடாது. That is the spirit that we should always have in our minds. ஒருத்தருக்கு கெடுதல் செஞ்சாக்கா it is something that will spoil our own well-being. Not only that, we will start accumulating bad karma. ஒருத்தருக்கு துரோகம் பண்ணாக்கா it will start impacting our own state of mind. Therefore, we will not ever be able to acquire good and divine qualities. The adroham அப்படிங்கிறது as far as possible we should try to practice. It is easier said than done, but there have been people who have exercised this adroham till their very last breath. அடுத்தது நாதிமானிதா. ந அதிமானிதா இஸ் நாதிமானிதா. அதிமானம் அப்படின்னாக்கா நம்மளுடைய வேல்யூ எக்ஸ் அப்படின்னா அத்தை 100x காட்டிக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் தான் அதிமானிதா. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சது I know a little bit of some subject, but the way we portray others is I am the authority of that subject. எங்கிட்ட இருந்தா இந்த சப்ஜெக்டே உருவாச்சு அப்படின்னு சொல்லக்கூடிய ஒரு தன்மைக்கு அதிமானிதா அப்படின்னு பேர். It applies to everything that we do, not just an aspect of learning or vidya, but உங்களால ஒரு ஐட்டம் பண்ணி பரிமாற முடியுமோ அப்படின்னாக்கா என்ன மாதிரி யாருன்னா பண்ணுவாளா? ஐ ஆம் myself, I only taught Venkatesh Bhatt அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? So getting into a state where you feel you are the originator of everything is called Atimanita, and it's a very difficult quality to overcome. Atimanita, yes Muthu.
One of the essential qualities of current corporate world.
Exactly. Bloated egos. இருக்கிறத 10 மடங்கா சொல்றது is at least better. இல்லாததே 100 மடங்கா சொல்றது. That is something which is very very prevalent in our corporate life. ஒரு 100 பேர் ஒருத்தர் போய் சொன்னாக்கா நம்மளால கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியும். 100 பேரும் கோஆர்டினேட்டடா போய் சொன்னான்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, நம்மளுக்கே பிரமம் வந்துடும். எது போய் எது உண்மைன்றது நம்மளுக்கே தெரியாது. But we live in a world where at some points of time we have to display these qualities. We should be mindful of its impact. என்ன ஆகும்? அதிமானிதா இருந்துட்டனாக்கா at some point somebody will start noticing, no, இவங்கிட்ட stuff இல்லை, then your downfall will start from that point onwards. அதனால அதிமானிதா is definitely an asuri quality. Natimanita is what we should strive to attain. So இதெல்லாம் லிஸ்ட் கொடுத்திருக்காரு. இப்போ பவந்தி சம்பதம் தெய்வீம் அபிஜாதஸ்ய பாரத, those who are born, these are the types of divine qualities that people can be born with or acquire. ரெண்டும் இருக்கு. There is an inherent nature in us which is because primarily of the birth. எந்த யோனியில நம்ம பறக்கிறோமோ that yoni determines who we are, but we are also determined by our own karma. So a bit of prarabdha karma, a bit of the family in which you are born, and most importantly இதெல்லாம் எதுக்காக சொல்லியிருக்காரு அப்படின்னா முன்ஜன்மால இதெல்லாம் வரணும், ஆர் அட்லீஸ்ட் இந்த ஜென்மால வளர்த்துக்கணும். ஸோ தீஸ் ஆர் குவாலிட்டிஸ் விச் கேன் பி ட்ரெயின்ட் அண்ட் அக்வைர்டு அண்ட் ஷார்பன்ட் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக he has given this categorization. Bhavanti sampadam devim abhijatasya bharata. Whoever is born, these are the main divine qualities that people can acquire அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். அடுத்தது ஸ்லோகா நம்பர் 4. இப்போ he starts the asuri qualities. Dambho darpotimanascha krodha parushyameva அஜ்ஞானம் சாபிஜாதஸ்ய பார்த்த சம்பதமாசுரீம். ஆசுரி குணங்கள்ல the leader of all asuri qualities யார் அப்படின்னாக்கா தம்பஹா. என்ன டம்பம் பாரு அவனுக்குன்னு சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா? இட் இஸ் ஆக்சுவலி a Sanskrit word. தம்பம் அப்படின்னாக்கா ஒரு விஷயம் பண்றோம், அந்த விஷயம் பண்றதுக்கு I am the key leader and I know how to do it and I would like to display it to everybody. It's a matter primarily of showing others as to who you are, what you are. நம்மளுடைய ஸ்டேட்டஸ் காமிச்சிக்கிறதுக்கு பேர் தான் தம்பம். அந்த காலத்துல both acharyas say that this quality is nothing but என்ன மாதிரி ஒரு ஆச்சாரசீலன் இருப்பானா, ஐ எம் தி மோஸ்ட் ஆர்த்தடாக்ஸ் பர்சன் அப்படின்னு தம்பத்தை காமிச்சிக்கிறதுக்காக தர்மானுஷ்டானம் பண்றதுக்கு பேரு தம்பம் அப்படின்ட்டு. தட் இஸ் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு ஷோ யுவர் ஈகோ அண்ட் அடாப்ட் தர்மா, அதையும் சொல்றா போத் ஆச்சாரியாஸ். தர்மத்தை எதுக்காக நம்ம ஃபாலோ பண்ணோம்? இஸ் primarily to cleanse ourselves internally and externally. ஆனா if you do it just to show it to others, அவரை மாதிரி ஒருத்தர் இருப்பாரு ஆச்சாரசீலன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம், and that basically is dambam. But in our day-to-day lives today, any activity that we do to showcase ourselves is known as dambam. இது வந்து ஆசுரி குவாலிட்டிஸ்ல நம்பர் 1 போட்டிருக்கார். அடுத்தது தர்பஹா. தர்ப்பம் அப்படின்னாக்கா there are 2 ways of defining it. One is Acharya Shankara says that you have a sense of pride in the people that are around you. You derive a sense of power because of the people around you, and that is what gives you a sense of elation or pleasure. And the type of people, of course, are Asuric people. So you know Asuric people cannot survive on their own. Have you noticed this? It is very clear in all our movies, yeah, Bollywood, Tollywood, Hollywood. ஒரு பேட்ட தாதா இருப்பான், அவன் இப்படி ஒல்லியா இருப்பான், அவனை சுத்தூர எல்லாரும் எப்படி இருப்பான், எல்லாம் வாட்ட சாட்டமா இருப்பான். They will be people who are themselves Asuric. And the main kingpin there, the Don, he gets a sense of pride because of the people around him. So அதுக்கு பேரு தர்பஹா. ஒத்தொத்தரா கைச்சின்னு வந்துட்டாக்கா அவனுக்கு அவ்வளவுதான், he will start running away. Because the sense of pride that you have because of the bad association or the set of people around you. Acharya Ramanuja's definition of darpa is kritya kritya aviveka karo vishayanubhava nimitto harshaha. That is, எது செய்யணும் எது செய்யக்கூடாது அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ஆஸ்பெக்ட்ல எனக்கு தான் நிறைய அனுபவம் இருக்கு அப்படின்னு கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு ஹாப்பினஸ் இஸ் கால்ட் தர்பஹா. The fact that I am the person who has the highest level of vivekam. என்ன தவிர யாருக்கு விவேகம் இருக்கு? It need not be into bad things, but possessing an ego that you know everything is called as darpaha. மூணாவது அத்திமானஹா. We just described நாத்திமானஹா as a daivi gunam. Atimanaha is you always overestimate yourself. In any forum that you get into, you overestimate yourself. அடுத்தது குரோதஹா. குரோதஹா அப்படிங்கிறது anger. And what is anger அப்படின்னாக்கா இன்னொருத்தரை ஹிம்சிக்கிறது. பேசிக்கலி அதுல நம்மளுக்கு சந்தோஷம். We derive happiness by giving pida to others, and that is best achieved through anger. If you go near an angry person, then you will not be able to bear that situation. Yeah, especially if you are in the spot and your boss catches hold of you and he is angry in spite of you doing your best efforts. What happens is you will get depressed. You will not be in your best state. You will go through what is known as pida, and that pida is it gives a sense of pleasure to the other person. So that is what is known as kurodhaha. அடுத்தது பாருஷ்யம். பாருஷ்யம்னாக்கா பருஷ வச்சனத்தை சொல்றதுக்கு பேரு பாருஷ்யம். That is, you speak ill of others. You are a very skillful person at using the wrong words. ரொம்ப கட்டோரமான வேர்ட்ஸ் வச்சு இன்னொருத்தரோட பேசுறது. இங்கே if you want to ask somebody, நான் அந்த வஸ்து இங்க கொண்டு வா அப்படின்னு கேட்கலாம். அதை கொண்டு வாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்றேன் இல்லையா? That is called Parushyam. You unnecessarily intonate the way you speak. You start using even bad words when you speak with others. And again, the way that Acharyas define Parushyam is Sadhunam Udvekakaraha Swabhava. இந்த சுபாவத்தை யார்கிட்ட சொல்லலாம் அப்படின்னாக்கா ஒரு எருமக்கடா கிட்ட சொல்லலாம். The one who has a thick skin, அவன் எழுந்தே போக மாட்டான். அவன்கிட்ட இப்படி சொன்னாதான் அவன் எழுந்து போவான். ஆனா if you speak like this with a cow, what will happen? It will get into a sense of disturbance. Sadhunam udvekakaraha. See, that is the reason why many times we should be very, very careful as to how we speak with others, especially strangers. We may not know who the other person is. அவர் நிஜமான சாதுவா இருந்துட்டாக்கா இது வந்துட்டு நம்மளுக்கு அபச்சாரம் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு விஷயம் ஆயிடும். So therefore we should be very, very careful when we speak. It will create a sense of turbulence. இதுக்காக தான் புராணங்கள்லாம் Dwarapalakas, the way they treated Sanaka Sanandana, அதெல்லாம் பார்த்திருக்கோம் இல்லையா? அவளுக்கு உத்வேகம் கொடுக்கக்கூடிய வார்த்தை என்ன, இப்போ நீங்க உள்ள போகக்கூடாது சார், பிஸியா இருக்கார் உள்ள அப்படின்னு தான் சொன்னான் ஜெயா விஜயா இல்லையா? ஆனா that even those words caused a sense of disturbance in the yogis, and that itself qualifies for Parushyam. But in our day-to-day lives, again, we should be careful as to the kind of words we use, how we speak with others.
But Jaya Vijaya were following that dharma. That's why they said
Correct.
that God is busy.
Yes. In fact, they were following their dharma. And the dharmata palikatla, where they went wrong is the first quality, dambam. They had the sense that I am the bodyguard of the Lord. என்ன மீறிண்டு போக முடியாதுங்கிற ஒரு தம்பத்துல they were following dharma. Therefore, it got qualified as an asuric quality. That's why they were born as asuras. Okay? அதனால தர்மத்தை அடாப்ட் பண்ணும் அப்படின்னாக்கா எதுக்காக? நம்மளுடைய நல்லத்துக்காக தர்மத்தை ஃபாலோ பண்ணும். வந்திருக்கிற யாரு? ஞானிகள் இல்லையா? They know that the Lord likes them more than the Dwarapalakas. Therefore, they should have used their sense of dhriti, determination, to allow them inside. So, இந்த தெய்வீ குவாலிட்டிஸ் சொன்னோம் பார்த்தீங்களா, அது எல்லாமே they are all actually traps of Maya. அதுல நாங்க தான் we are the people who are the torch bearers or flag bearers அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு மென்டாலிட்டி வந்துருத்துனா டமால் இந்த பக்கம் வந்துரும். We move from, you have seen the game of snakes and ladders, right? The ladders are the Daivi qualities. The moment we lose our sense of dhriti or balance and get that ego, we'll fall down. So that's the reason why the Lord is clearly describing both qualities in this chapter.
So like in Vaikuntham it is said that there would be no ego and all. Then how could Jaya Vijaya had that ego?
So thanks for bringing it up. So the best way to answer this question is an analogy that my guru used to relate. Is where do you, if I light a lamp, there is light all around. But if you ask the question, where is darkness? The answer is right below the lamp. You will see a shade of darkness right below the lamp, isn't it? And that is because there is a layer, there is a shield that you have not yet surrendered yourself fully to the Lord. And you have not yet become one with Him. When there is no oneness and when you start having this sense of duality, then what happens is you get into this state of Maya. And just to illustrate this only, all these Puranas have come. That in spite of people being in exalted states, as I just illustrated, the moment this sense of ego kicks in, that I am in Vaikuntham, I am the boss, I am the portfolio manager of this, all of them will get a tongue on their head. The Lord will give them a lesson, be it Ananta, Garuda, everybody. It doesn't matter. All of them will be taught a lesson. So therefore, it is not uncommon. In fact, if we were to see Lord Krishna, let's say he takes an avatar and he comes in front of us. First of all, we may not recognize him. And the way that he behaves and he interacts with others will be divine. But to understand and adopt his style of living will be very, very difficult. And, we shouldn't get into the fact that, okay, if Lord Krishna has taken an avatar, even when he came down to earth, there were very few people who knew him as he was. And that's the reason why, he tried to teach different people in different manners. To Arjuna, it was through Gita. To gopis and others, it was through his divine Leela, the way he interacted with them in their day-to-day lives. And his sole purpose was to say that, I created this entire universe and this creation so that people will be happy. They will know who they are and who I am and the relation between them and me. But people forget it. And so therefore, it's not uncommon, Biswa. Okay? We should be ready to accept that fact.
Yes, sir.
Arthade, Ajnanam, as we all know, is lack of knowledge or knowledge about things other than reality, is Ajnanam. So these are all Asuri Swabhavas. Ajnanam cha abhijadasya partha sampadam asuri. Abhijatasya naka, again, people can be born with these qualities, and these are all known as Asuri Sampat. So he gives the distinction of the Devi and Asuri Gunas. Then the question will arise, what do I do with these Gunas? What happens if I acquire Devi Gunas? What happens if I acquire Asuri Gunas? So to answer that question, we have the next shloka number 5. Devi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandhaya Asuri Mata Ma Shuchaha Sampadam Devim Abhijatosi Pandava. It's very simple. Devi Sampat is essentially for Vimoksham, to release you from all types of bondage, is Devi Sampat. Tapaha, Swadhyayaha, Arjavam, Mardavam, Hrihi, Achapalam, all the Devi Gunas, if we were to adopt in our day-to-day lives, then what happens is we will start releasing ourselves from bondage. And this bondage is primarily with samsara. And Nibandhaya Asuri Mata, all the demonic attributes, they are there to tie us down. So it's the other end of the spectrum. So one ties you down to Prakriti, Gunas, senses, sense objects, etc. And they will ensure that you continue the journey in samsara. You will never be released. On the other hand, Devi Sampat, if you start acquiring, they will help you to attain liberation. இது சொன்ன உடனே அர்ஜுனனுக்கு ஒரு டவுட் வந்துடும். எஸ்.
But liberation, we are talking about this vimochanam or liberation. So at our level, so can we, I can think that I can consider it at a very, very lower level to liberate myself from not being bad. But I can't even think about attaining moksham and all. So it is acquiring these Devi Gunas. When we talk about Devi Gunas, all the bad qualities are always embedded in that. So how are we going to do justice to it?
Okay. So if I understand the question correctly, let me go back to the Devi Gunas. Ahimsa, Satyam, Akrodha, Tyagaha, Shanti, etc. These definitely, the end goal is liberation. But as you rightly pointed out, it is a multi-step process. And the closest thing that you can get is a sense of relief from the situation you are into. So if, let's say, you are put into a situation Okay. So you take the case of, let's say, க்ஷமா. இந்த க்ஷமா அப்படிங்கிற குவாலிட்டி எங்க யூஸ் ஆகும் அப்படின்னாக்கா, you are put in a situation where somebody is torturing you, let's say. Either they can be related to you, your friends, or external world that you interact with. Now consider a case where you have this attribute called ksama and a case where you don't have this ksama. So if you have ksama, what happens is you will forgive that individual. You will develop a sense of forbearance, right? It's like having a Bose speaker around our ears. Nothing else will go in. I will not be affected by that. The other aspect is, I forgive you. It's okay. Because ultimately I know I will not be impacted by what you are saying. I have been truthful, etc. So you know who you are. And the other person is at fault. Then what happens is, Kshama helps you to regain your balance. All these Devi Gunas, their sole purpose is bring us back to a state of balance. In other words, life is meant to move us away from a state of balance. When we encounter situations, people, things. So how are we supposed to get back to a state of balance? Is by imbibing all these Devi Gunas. So consider a case where you don't have Kshama. What will happen? There is no Bose speaker. So you are hearing everything, processing. Your mind will relate to memory. Annikku ipdi panna, innikku ipdi solrane, die appdin solli, you will get into a state of fight.
So appearing these qualities are also not dependent on me. It is again maybe Bhagavad Sankalpam.
Yes.
That because when I am tainted aware, when I am unknowingly with the others who are like this, I'm tainted by these qualities.
Correct. Yes.
Because yes, you are quoting the example of Kshama, but I was thinking on those angles of cleanliness, Saucha, wherein Jadabharatar, because அவர் அவ்வளோ பெரிய சித்தி எல்லாம் இருந்த ஒரு நாள அவரோட எக்ஸ்டர்னல் அப்பியரன்ஸ் was not very appealing. So அதை பார்த்தாக்கா அடுத்தவா they will not think that is inner qualities unless they are into that sthiti. So it is quite hard
to understand if somebody has this quality or not.
என் கண்ணுக்கு தெரியல, the drishti is not right, so my perception is wrong அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரில வரலாம். But because of that thing, I am again gaining a osiric quality of judging.
Oh, yeah. So அதுக்கு தான் நம்ம என்ன பண்ணோம், there are multiple things here. One relates to ourselves. The other is to the knowledge we acquire about other things and other people. இப்போ ஜடபரதர் மாதிரி, somebody is very unclean externally, but actually is a great soul. Yeah.
My question is, how can he himself be so unclean externally? Because when we are discussing about all these qualities, so the physical appeal is also there.
Correct.
Krishna is never unclean when we imagine.
I'll tell you one thing. We are going by caricature of what we have seen in Amar Chitra Katha. Yeah. The actual thing is, they may be unclean up to a state of attaining siddhi. And Atma siddhingiradhu ondurthuna, you are close to the most perfect state that is possible. Appo, and the perfect state, whatever that dictates, only will flow through that person.
So he will be in his own tejas. That tejas will be shown to everyone. Why is it not shown to everyone? Is it because of the problems that I have?
Because of the samskaram that we have and the wheel that we have. We do not want to see it that way. And secondly, here there is a bit of theory, a bit of practice. The theory is what we go through, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads. They all teach us about what is dharma, what is adharma. But that's a foundational thing. In reality, what actually helps is some kind of experience. And that happens இப்போ ஒரு let's say we want to make a chutney on a அம்மி. அந்த அம்மியில பண்றச்சே you cannot get that in the very first minute. You may have to keep doing it for several minutes. அது பக்குவம் அடையறதுக்கு you have to get in touch with such a great person more frequently. Then you may acquire certain experiences, and that experiences itself will become your guru. It will become your touchstone. அது வரைக்கும் நம்மளுக்கு தெரியாது அவர் நல்லவரா கெட்டவரா அப்படிங்கிறது தெரியாது. Therefore, by default, it is good to be good. So we get into a Daivi state by default, so that you don't end up in a state of apacharam.
Because
Right.
I'm just again sorry to it's so much of confusion to me now at this moment. ஜடபரதர் காலத்துல நான் இருந்திருந்தேன்னா my perception would be definitely wrong. இன்னைக்கு அவரோட கதையா கேட்கறதுக்கு அவ்வளவு பெரிய ஞானியா அவர் அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கார் அப்படின்னு என்னால I can understand it, but if as a real person, if he was next to me, maybe I would not have known it. That is what I'm trying to.
நீங்க ஏன் ஜடபரதர் கிருஷ்ணரே எடுத்துக்கோங்க. How many people knew he was an avatara purusha? Very few. All others thought he's a cowherd, he's a king maybe, right? A person who is good looking. But very few people knew him as an avatara. And therefore, it calls for a certain sense of refinement. That's what is called as samskaram. Samskaram சொல்றது வேற ஒண்ணும் கிடையாது. It's a state of refinement of our understanding of things. Theoretical and practical. Practical aspect is acquiring that experience. இப்போ ஒரு சத்புருஷர் இருக்கா அப்படின்னாக்கா, a very simple thing I'll tell you. My mind is agitated. When I go to a Satpurusha, I should gain a sense of balance. As part of that, the very first thing is you will get clarity as to what caused that imbalance. நான் ஏன் இப்படி ஆனேன் அப்படிங்கிறது பத்தி உங்களுக்கு you will get that buddhi. That itself is a sign of the fact that you are close to a Satpurusha. Second stage of that is, when you start acquiring this quality over a period of time, you will always be watchful. I should not lose my sense of balance. Something is going to come and attack me now. அப்படிங்கிறது you will get into a state of refinement that you don't anymore need to worry about losing your balance. You will always remain in a state of balance, but it's a process. It won't happen overnight. அதனால the reason why the Lord has laid out these Daivi qualities is ultimately they will take you to a state of adhyatma, adhibhutam, adhidevam, adhyatmam. அவர் சொல்றது இப்போ தெய்வீ குவாலிட்டிஸ்ல இருக்கார். இதெல்லாம் ஃபாலோ பண்ணிட்டு போனா மேல அத்தியாத்மத்துக்கு போக முடியும். That is why he has mentioned this. ஆசுரி குணங்கள் போச்சுனாக்கா அதிபூதம், அதுக்கு கீழே நரக்கம் இத்தியாதி எல்லாம் வரதுக்கு சான்சஸ் இருக்கு. அதான் சொல்ல போறாரு மேலுக்கு. சரியா? ஆல் ரைட். இப்போ என்ன சொல்றார் அர்ஜுனன் கிட்ட, தெய்வீ சம்பத் விமோக்ஷாய சொன்னது. மாசுச்ச சம்பதம் தெய்வீம் அபிஜாதோசி பாண்டவ. அர்ஜுனா அவனுக்கு டவுட் வந்துடும் இந்த மாதிரி. That's where I stopped. The doubt Arjuna had, not what Anusha had, is whether I have தெய்வீ qualities or asuri qualities. அப்படின்னு அவன் மனசுல ஒரு சஞ்சலம் வந்துடும். கிருஷ்ணர் இப்படிலாம் சொல்றாரு இல்லையா, ஓஹோ என் மனசுல am I a தெய்வீ person or an asuri person? A great ஞானி or a guru is somebody who can understand your mind. So therefore Krishna immediately says ma shucha, don't worry அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். ஏன் அப்படின்னா தெய்வீ சம்பத்தினாலே நீ பிறந்திருக்க அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். சம்பதம் தெய்வீம் அபிஜாதோசி பாண்டவ. இந்த இடத்துல அபிஜாத்தா அப்படின்னாக்கா you are born in such a great family, you are a Pandu's son. அதனால அபிஜாத்தா அப்படின்னு ஆச்சாரியா சொல்றான். இங்க முன்ன சொன்ன அபிஜாத்தருக்கு இதுக்கும் டிஃபரன்ஸ் என்னன்னா, you have a special status simply because of birth. அதனால நீ கவலைப்பட வேண்டாம்.
Sorry to interrupt again. இப்போ we are all the children of God. அப்ப நம்ம பிறக்கிறதே, are we not all born with daily qualities? Is it only Arjuna who is born with Devi qualities?
Sari. Yeah. Yes, somebody else is also. Who is that? Sorry.
Our gunas decide, or நம்மளோட குணா, நம்மளோட கர்மங்கள் decide how we are born with what qualities.
Yes. So what happens is there's a very special thing with our birth as a human being, irrespective of whether you are a somebody born in a higher race. I mean, race in the sense, நல்ல யோனி அப்படின்னு வச்சுப்போம், or துஷ்ட யோனி. When you are in the mother's womb, all of us have a state of divine experience. Therefore, even asuras, it doesn't matter. That's why Durlabham Manusha Janmam Solra. It is only human beings, when they are in the womb of their mother, they get a divine experience. And the experience enagum, whether it sustains from the moment you are born, you come out of your mother's womb, is the question. What happens is you will have a very thick layer of Maya if you are destined due to your past karma to be born in an asuric tendency. So ஏன்னா எல்லாரிலையும் இருக்கக்கூடியது ஆத்ம தத்துவம் தான். அது தெரியாத, அது மறைக்கு காரணமா இருக்கக்கூடியது தான் இந்த குணங்கள். அந்த thickness of the wheelன்னு சொல்லணும். How thick it is all dependent on your past karma. So that is what determines how you are born. And the wheel பத்தி தான் இங்க அர்ஜுனனுக்கு சொல்றார். Your wheel is much shorter because you are born to Pandu. And don't worry, you are Mashuchaha, don't worry. You do have Devi qualities.
Arjunanukku, there was Krishna who could tell it
Correct.
straight on his face. So, இப்போ right, I can get என்னோட எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ்ல நான் யாரோ ஒரு பெரிய ஞானியும் யாரோ ஒருத்தர் வந்து இல்லமா நன்னா குடும்பத்தில் பிறந்திருக்கேன்னு சொல்லலாம். But is it okay to think that I am the God's child and I possess that quality? அப்படின்னு நான் யோசிச்சுக்கலாமா என்ன? Or is it a good குணம் or a bad குணம்?
Okay. It's a valid point. இல்லையா? அர்ஜுனனுக்கு luckily he had a Krishna who could look into his soul and say who he is. If we have a great guru next to us, no doubt that person will tell us. So what is the touchstone for normal people, day-to-day people? அப்படின்னாக்கா, it's important to acquire these Devi gunas. And yes, a positive reinforcement, as they call it in psychology, definitely will help to associate. அதுக்கு தான் the previous ஸ்லோகால வந்திருக்கு, உத்தரேத் ஆத்மன் ஆத்மானம் ஆத்மானம் அவசாதயேதே ஆத்மைவ ஹ்யாத்மனோ பந்துஹு ஆத்மைவ ரிபுராத்மனஹ நாத்மானம் அவசாதயேத்னு சொல்லியிருக்கார். Don't think low of yourself. Think of yourself as being associated with the right gunas. நான் தப்பு பண்ண மாட்டேன். I am a forgiving person. I am somebody who is steadfast. I cannot go wrong. அப்படிங்கிறத நம்ம மனசுல அடிக்கடி சொல்லிண்டே இருக்கணும். அப்படி சொல்லிண்டே இருந்தாக்கா you're right. That will eventually lead you to this path. Instead of saying that, நான் தப்பு பண்ணிட்டேன், இது பண்ணிருக்க கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டே இருந்தோம்னா என்ன ஆகும்? அந்த வார்த்தையிலே பாருங்க, அது frequency of words. நம்ம எப்பவுமே ஸ்டாட்டிஸ்டிக்ஸ்ல frequency சொல்லுவோம், frequency count. How many words have you used positively versus negatively? If you keep using negatively but still have say that I don't want to be these things, that will actually lead you eventually to a state where you'll get associated more with those negative. Then chances are higher, unless you have a correcting force next to you. On the other hand, positive side will definitely help. Ana, what you should watch out for is you should not get into dambam. You should not get into a state of arrogance or ego saying, I am the most clean person, I am the most determined person. அப்படிங்கிறது வரக்கூடாது. அது வராத இருக்கிறதுக்கு நம்ம என்ன பண்ணணும்? பக்தி. பகவானோட பக்தி வச்சோம்னா he will ensure that we get the correct qualities at the correct time into us. சரியா? மாசுச்ச சம்பதம் தெய்வீம் அபிஜாதோசி பாண்டவா. That is sloka number 6. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asura evacha daivo vistarasha proktaha asuram parthame shrunu. So the Lord, having explained the Daivi gunas in detail, he took 3 slokas to explain. Right? He explained Asuri gunas only in one padam of one slokam. Dambho darpo vimanascha krodha parushamevacha abdin solli vittar. But he has not explained, and he feels that Arjuna should know, we all should know what those Asuri qualities are. So again he is reinstating there are 2 types of jivas in this loka. Gau bhuta sargau loke asmin. Who are they? Daiva, Asura evacha. There are 2 types of people, Daivi and Asuric people. That means what we see in Amar Chitra Katha, Asurargal, Devargal, they are not some people who are outside, they are within us. They are actually us. Okay? We become Devas, we become Asuras. We become Devas when we show all the positive qualities, or some positive qualities in great manner at some points of. Yes, hello? Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So those who, when we display the negative qualities, we are Asuras. We don't have to look to Wikipedia as to where is Ravana. Location based modeling, GPS pota, it will say our coordinates. Ravana is nowhere else. Nambada Ravana. Do bhuta sargo lokesmin daiva asurevacha daivo vistarasha prokta. I explained in very great detail who the Daivi people are. Asuram parthame shrunu. Now listen to who are the demonic people. He is going to talk about demonic people now. Okay. I think this is the Daivi qualities la solrache. We have the feeling ipilla irka abdinte. And if Daivi Asuri qualities we will be very happily relating to them. Aha. இது நம்ம daily day-to-day life பார்க்கறது இல்லையோ இது தினம் பாருங்க. பிரவர்த்திஞ்ச நிவர்த்திஞ்ச ஜனான விதுராசுராஹ நசௌச்சம் நாபி சாச்சாரோ நசத்யம் தேஷு வித்யதே. The first defining attribute of a Asuri person, தம்பம் இதெல்லாம் பார்த்தோம். Those are qualities. But இப்போ என்ன பண்ண போறாருன்னா பகவான், he is going to look at the causal factors so that we correct ourselves. Yeah, gold is AU, atomic weight something, periodic table இருக்கு அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு போயிடுறது ஒண்ணு. இன்னொன்னு, it is available in mines in South Africa or in Kolar or whatever. He says அங்க போய் தோண்டிப்பாரு உனக்கு கிடைக்கும். That's more important இல்லையா? இந்த ஆசுரி குணங்கள் எதனால வருது அப்படிங்கிறது சொல்றச்சே பிரவருத்திஞ்ச நிவர்த்திஞ்ச ஜனான விதுராசுரா. The asuras, oh Arjuna, remember, asuras are people who do not know what is pravritti and nivriti. Pravrittina என்னது? புருஷார்த்தங்கள்ல நம்ம ஈடுபடுறதுக்கு பேர் pravritti. The fact that we get involved into dharma, artha, kama and moksha, and primary among them is dharma, is pravritti. That we take care of all that is good for us, ourselves, our society, our people around us, things around us, etc. is known as pravritti. Nivritti, as we all know, is the moksha margam primarily. The fact of going inward, correcting ourselves, etc. is nivritti. இந்த ஆசுரிக் பீப்புள் எப்படி அப்படின்னா, அவளுக்கு இங்க இருக்கிற நல்லத்துலயும் இஷ்டம் இல்லை, பிற்பாடு வரக்கூடிய நல்லத்துக்கும் இஷ்டம் இல்லை. They are they don't want to associate themselves with what is good here and what is good after. And what type of people are they? Nashaucham napi chacharo. They are the most unclean people அப்படின்னு சொல்றார். சுச்சின்னா என்னன்னு தெரியாது. சில பேர்லாம் நம்ம படிக்கிற காலத்துல ஹாஸ்டல்ல பார்த்திருப்போம். I don't want to name. சில பேர்லாம் அவ குளிச்சிட்டாள்னா அன்னைக்கு மழையே பெய்யும். So they take bath once in a month. அந்த மாதிரிலாம் இருப்பா. So basically, external cleanliness எதுக்காக important அப்படின்னா it has the highest correlation. It will eventually lead you into internal uncleanliness also. You will start associating with bad people, and you would have opened the doors for everything bad. So these people, Asuric people, will have the word cleanliness nowhere in their dictionary. Nashaucham napicha acharaha. Acharam kadayadu. Shuchina cleanliness. Acharam is all practices that will lead you to cleanliness is achara. Now this applies to not only external but also internal. Okay. Nasatyam teshu vidyate. அவளை தொட்டா போய் தான் வெளில வரும். சத்தியங்கிறது துளி கூட இருக்காது. இவாளுக்கு பேர் தான் அசுராஹா. அசுராளுடைய ஃபர்ஸ்ட் குவாலிட்டிஸ் என்ன? They are unclean. They do not adopt any practices that lead you anywhere close to cleanliness. சரியா? And then they are never in a state of truthfulness. அவளை பார்த்தாலே தெரியும், சுவாமி இவரை போய் நம்புறாரு, அவர் யார் தெரியுமா, அவர் வாயிலேன்னு திறந்தா போய் தான் வரும். So such people are known as asuras. Nasatyam teshu vidyate. He further explains. Asatyam apratishthante jagadahuranishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kimanyat kamahaitukam. These Asuric people, further the Lord is explaining that the way they look at the world. How do they look at the world? Abdina, they think of the world as asatyam, that the world is not real. It is not something which is full of divinity or chaitanyam or consciousness. They think of the world as asatyam, apratishtham. The world is not established in anything that is supreme like the Brahman. அப்படிங்கிற கான்செப்டே கிடையாது. The world doesn't have an existence of its own. And then they say further, te jagadahu anishwaram. The jagatte இதுக்கு ஈஸ்வரன் அப்படிங்கிறது ஒருத்தன் கிடையாது. That means primarily these people are atheists. They don't believe in the concept of Ishvara. They don't believe in the concept that Ishvara is the Karanam, Jagat Karanam. அதுதான் பிரதானமான தத்துவமே. ஈஸ்வரனா யார் அப்படின்னா, he is the source and substratum for this entire Jagat. That is a defining aspect of Ishvara. And they don't believe in that. சரியா? முதல்ல they are unclean. சத்தியம்ங்கிறதே கிடையாது அவள்ல. Therefore நம்ம உள்ள சத்தியம் இருந்தா தானே வெளியில சத்தியத்தை பார்க்க முடியும். நம்மளே பொய்யா இருந்துட்டா வெளியில இருக்கிறது எல்லாமே பொய் தான். அதனால இப்ப ந சத்தியம் அப்படின்னா அங்க எப்படி சொன்னாரோ இங்க பாருங்க, அசத்தியம் அப்பிரதிஷ்டம்னு சொல்றார். So the way you see internally is what you see externally. They see that the whole world is a humbug. There is nothing called Lord. Don't worry about anything. And they also, they are experts. ஒரு தரம் அது இல்லைன்னு நம்மளுக்கு புரிஞ்சிருச்சுன்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க, you start using your own logic. You are the Lord இல்லையா? There is no other Lord அப்படின்னா what is the answer? How do you fill in the blanks? Who is the Lord? அப்படின்னா I am the Lord. எப்படி அப்படின்னா, இந்த ஜகத்துக்கு காரணம் என்னப்பா அப்படின்னு கேட்டாங்க, if you go and ask Asuri people, they will tell you kama hetukam. This whole world is born because of kama. That is the aspect of desire. அதுதான் ஜகத்துக்கு உருவாகிறதுக்கு காரணம். அபரஸ்பர சம்பூதம். It is not because of dharma and adharma. All that is nonsense. The whole world exists because of desire. And that is the reason why the world exists. Therefore, this is their fundamental logic. Ingendan the whole system or the philosophy of Asuras starts. Epdi, when you say that there is no Ishvara, when you say that what you see outside is all untruth, and further when you complicate it by saying the reason why this whole world exists is because of karma, what is the next thing you will start doing? You will get into a state where you will start embracing karma inside you. அந்த காமாக்கு ஃபுல் ஸ்டாப்பே இருக்காது, அது போயிட்டே இருக்கும். And therefore what will happen is you will start acquiring a sense of false pride and get into a state where you will become an asura eventually. So therefore இந்த ஆசுரிக் டெண்டன்சிஸ் நம்மள வரக்கூடாது அப்படின்னா தெய்வீ குவாலிட்டிஸ் வரவேச்சுக்கணும். அதெல்லாம் சரி. அதுக்கு மூலபூதமான காரணம் என்ன? வாட் இஸ் a stepping stone to become a Daiva Purusha from Asurana? You should start believing in Ishvara. You should start looking at the world as a reflection of the Ishvara. And he is the sustaining factor for this universe. அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு தன்மை நம்மள வந்தாதான் இந்த ஆசுரிக் குவாலிட்டிஸ் நம்மள வராத இருக்கும். அதனால that is something we should be really mindful about. So with that we'll have the chanting now. If you have any questions, please reserve them for the next class. Okay. Yeah.
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. Atha Shodashodhyayah. Daivasura Sampad Vibhagayogah. Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Abhayam Sattvasham Shuddhihi. Jnana-yoga-vyavasthitihi. Danam damascha yajñascha. Swadhyayastapa arjavam. Ahimsa satyamakrodhaha. Styagashantirapayishunam. Taya bhutveshvaloluptvam. Mardavam hrirachapalam. Te dakshvamadhritish shaucham. Droho adroho natimanita. Bhavanti sampadam daivim. Abhijatasya bharata. Dambho darpobhimanascha. Krodha parushyameva cha. Ajnanam jati jatasya. Parthas sampadamasurim. Daivi sampad vimokshaya. Nibandhaya surimata. Mashucha sampadam daivim. Abhijatosi Pandava. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin. Daiva asura eva cha. Daivo vistarashah proktaha. Asuram partha me shrunu. Guru charanambuja. Nirbhara bhakta. Guru charanambuja. Nirbhara bhakta. Samsarata chirabhava mukta. Guru charanambuja. Krishna Krishna Sendriya manasa niyamadevam drakshasi nija hridayastham devam bhaja govindam bhaja govindam govindam bhaja mudhamade वाचा मनसा इन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्या आत्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि.
Unmute பண்றலாம்.
Thank you. Ram.
Ram.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Namaskaram.
Raghavanji.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Mama. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
Namaskaram. Thank you.
அதான் ஒரு இதெல்லாம் இனிஷியேட் பண்ணது சுந்தர். இன்னைக்கு அவருடைய பர்த்டே, அதனால எல்லாருக்கும் சார்பா நமஸ்காரம்.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you, and we all seek your blessings.
இல்ல actually you see I kept my birthday secret for a long time, but anyway the only thing which I can say is last 18 months has been tough for all of us, and அந்த டயத்துல ராகவன் மாதிரி இந்த மாதிரி ஸ்பீச்சஸ்லாம் கேட்கறதுக்கு we are all blessed, and therefore ரொம்ப ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் உங்களுக்கு. And on behalf of everybody here, all I can do is to pray to the God and to the Gurus for our continued welfare. Ram Ram.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Thank you.
Mama.
Thank you so much, Mama.
Have a wonderful birthday, Mama. Happy birthday
thank
to
you.
you.
Happy birthday, Mama.
Right, thank you.
Happy birthday, Sundarji.
Thank you, thank you.
Padma.
Padma. Thank you, Padma.
Happy birthday. This is Jayashree here.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Jayashree.
Thank you.
In fact, you know, you have been a big motivation for me to start this series. So
No, I think you see, people say a lot of things about what they call quote unquote motivation. No amount of motivation can work if there is no substance there. So anyway, the Bhagavad Kripai, unga Guru Kripai, so we are all grateful for that.
I can't win an argument against you. I know that.
Ram Ram.
Ram.
Thanks, Ji.
All
Thank-
the best for everybody. I think virtually everybody here is younger than me, and therefore all the best.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
Namaskaram.
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 Thank you.
Namaskar.
Leave பண்ணலாமா?